going on?
Oh my
All
goodness.
right, here we go. We are live. It's your girl Lisa Denae, and we are live with a very special guest tonight. We have had a little bit of technical difficulties, so I'm hoping that this is working and that we are actually live now. And we'll see here in just a moment. So, hey, Kisha Nicole.
Hey, how are you? Thank you for having me. I am so honored and humbled to be here. I always just take it. It always humbles me when someone wants to hear what I have to say. Like, who wants to hear the crazy lady with the blue hair this month and green
Well,
lips? So
absolutely. I mean, I always love hearing what you have to say. You always have something really insightful to say. So I wanted to start out just asking you a little bit about how have you been doing in the midst of this pandemic, COVID-19, coronavirus?
well, I personally have been doing well. This has been an awesome time of productivity and flourishing. At the beginning of the year, like you were saying earlier, behind the scenes when we were talking, that the year didn't start off like so great.
Right.
You know what I mean? It didn't start off so. I'm not gonna lie, it didn't. I mean, I was coming into it with the vision. You know what I mean? Knowing that God was gonna do something and having my faith and still working. You know, the plan and doing everything. But it didn't start off the way I thought it was gonna start off with a bang. I ain't gonna lie. And
Yeah.
it was funny that things didn't even start turning around until lockdown. That's the truth for
Really,
me.
that is so true. Yeah.
Yeah, things really started to pick up, ironically, which just shows you how the wonders of God, you know what I'm saying? How he can move in spite of no matter what's going on. So this has been a great time, just like a period of sit down, even for my family, of
Hmm.
reconnection, healing, deliverance, him telling me to cut certain people off, like a real cutting season for me. I
Yes.
had people that I had to drop and cut off. It was a time just to be able to take more time and play games with the kids. Get back to some of the basic things that we did when they were a little bit younger. Like my youngest one is 11 now, so everybody, is older, 16, 18, 22, 24, working. Kind of like got their
Right.
own many lives. So we've been able to, even although my husband lost his job and everything, God has still provided no matter what. So we've been able to take time and, bond with the kids a little bit differently now that both parents are home because they haven't had
Yeah.
that. Mom is the one that's always been home and whatnot. And even just me and my husband. Now he's an entrepreneur, so I'm teaching him, all the little entrepreneurial things, even though he's been with me on my
Right.
journey 10 years. It's a little bit different when it's you in a hot seat. And that's what he's even told me. So it's just been a great time. I've been busier in this season than I feel like all last year when you could actually, get in the car and go out. So it's been a great
Right.
time for me and my family. It really has.
Yeah, I can agree. It has really been good for me as well. But I will say that I want to mention that, our county, Harris County, is off the hook right now. It is out of
I
control.
heard.
We
Now
have
I'm
a total of 51,000 total cases. That's a lot of people and over 500 deaths. That is a lot of people. And
right.
then people still don't want to wear their masks. People still don't want to social distance.
That is
It's
very, very
just,
true. And you know what? I am now I'm not a pro mask person, but I'm also in quarantine in my house. To be very
mhm,
honest with you, there has been no
mhm.
nail shop. There has been no, God told me in your house unless you have to go to the grocery store. So me and my husband do our once a week trip, usually on Friday or early Saturday morning. We get in, we get out. We have our list, we get in, we get out. And I do comply and wear a mask when I'm out there. But I am very confused at the amount of birthday celebrations I'm seeing. And it's not a judgment. I'm just confused. I'm just really
Yeah,
confused. The
yeah,
family barbecues, the family get togethers as if your family member cannot get sick and give it to you.
right,
I'm
right.
like your family and your close friends are exempt from having COVID or being asymptomatic and passing it on. I'm just confused about that. Really, I'm confused about it.
Yeah, I think it should be a lesson in patience for us all that we have all these means. We have more means to communicate now than we ever have in our lives, and still people want to see each other in person. It has
Right.
to be some form of patience and some form of sacrifice to know that we all want to be healthy, we all want to be safe, and
Right.
we want to just get through this pandemic and get on with our lives. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I encourage everybody now. I'm okay with wearing a mask. I'm not really, I'm not a person that like people around me anyway. Before the pandemic, I was already social distance.
Right. Right.
I don't like people close to me anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm cool with wearing a mask, and I'm definitely cool with other people wearing it around me.
Right.
I really need that to happen.
Right.
But
Yeah.
and then the distance, I love the distance. Now I have
Mhm.
went to a restaurant a couple times, and there was nobody else there, and I loved it. That I used to. I like that part. But so yeah, I want to get a little bit into our interview tips, talk to you a little bit about who you are and what you do. So for the people who don't know you, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay. This, you know what, this is always a struggle because I always feel like what I do is never about me. So I hate
Uh-huh.
even talking about myself, you know? So on the creative side, I'm an embellisher. I've been doing that for 10 years. I started in Atlanta or whatever, something I did, you know, being a stay at home mom, trying to keep myself busy. And
Mm-hmm.
my daughter encouraged me to start selling. I started out with little jewelry boxes, and my daughter encouraged me to start selling them. So that's how that business kind of got started. And then when I moved here, God took me on a really strange path through ministry.
Uh-huh.
He started me out doing strip club ministry, really
Okay.
going to a club once a month on Friday night, and we would visit 3 clubs. I started out with a different ministry, which I was the only black person or black woman in the ministry. Which it was fine, it was cool or whatever. You know, it was something different for me, but I knew that God had me doing it. So I'm like, okay, Lord, like let me, see what this is about. And so from there, it went on to doing street ministry and getting into like the sex trafficking world and strippers and prostitutes. So that's kind of,
Wow.
yeah, that's how he started me out in ministry. And although I've grown up in the church, I veered from the church like when I was around 17. Had some church hurt, and
Mm-hmm.
then I also, churches just operate real weird to me.
Yes.
I'm a person about the people, about kingdom. I'm not about being in bondage and religion and having all these ridiculous rules and stuff because God never told me any of those rules. So in my
Mm-mm.
mind, if He ain't tell me, it's not real. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So, no church gonna run me like that. So that's how He kind of got me into ministry, and then He was able to take the ministry side and the creative side and show me how to kind of make it blend. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's where I am with that right now, as far as my business and my nonprofit. Well, my 2 businesses and my nonprofit. Yeah. So then I end up becoming a mental health peer specialist, a recovery support specialist, and a Christian counselor. And also, I'm going in training right now to be a peer supervisor so I can supervise others to get their certifications and their credentials from the state of Texas. So,
Wow, that's awesome. I think
yes.
it is amazing what you say about strip club ministry. I had never heard that before, but I can say that I always thought about it because in my mind, if all the women just decide not to strip, the strip clubs close. I
Right.
mean, we are as women, we are, I mean, objectified more than anybody. We
Of
are,
course.
demeaned on such a regular basis. If women decide this is not going to happen to me anymore, so we hold the power. But so many of
Yes.
us don't know that. So I have
Mhm.
always wondered what it would be like to go into a strip club, not to preach to them, but just show love show
Mm-mm.
love and just say, look, I just want you to know that somebody love you. I just want you
Because
to know that,
they're regular people. They're regular people.
yes.
Just those ladies have kids. Some of them had grandchildren. Not that anyone necessarily was old, but teen parent. I was a teen parent, and then it's a cycle or whatever. So some of them have grandchildren. Some of them are
Mm-hmm.
taking care of their whole families.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were in school, paying for school. Like they had brains. I'm like, oh my goodness. So yeah, it was no judgment or anything. And I think for me, my appearance probably helped me out a lot because I didn't look
Absolutely.
like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else was white. And so it's like,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, what are these white ladies doing in a black strip club? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I was the only person that, resembled them. And then I just come in with the crazy makeup and, the colorful this and the rhinestones and everything. And, they're just like, she's one of us, and I would begin to connect with them really a lot of times through their makeup and stuff. That because I was learning how to do makeup at that time. So that was a great connection. That was like a great tool that God gave me. I'd be like, oh, well, what concealer are you using? Or,
Yeah.
what relation do you have? And then we start talking about our kids. And they're like, oh, do you want to see pictures? This and the other. So like we became friends. Even one club that I was going into, the house mom, I went to her baby shower
Wow.
at her home. Yeah. And I went to her daughter's, me and my husband went to her daughter's first birthday party at her new house when she moved, So they're regular people. They're regular people. Nobody has the right to judge them. They haven't done
Right.
anything more horrible than we have. If God can forgive us and heal us and deliver us and take us back into the fold, he'll do the same for them just like he'll do the same for anybody. Period.
Absolutely. And at least they getting paid for some of the shenanigans they doing.
That's true.
Some
Exactly.
folks out here doing it for free, but
Agree. That's
that's for
very,
another
very
time.
true. And I feel like a lot of them know that they have this power. They know that they have this power. They know that they have
Yes.
these skills. But sometimes you just need someone else to kind of help you direct that energy into, something that's better that could work for you and your family. Because I found that most of them didn't want to even do that. But
Yeah.
life circumstances kind of got them there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Right.
truthfully, there were times in my life, not that I ever really thought about stripping, but when looking back, I can think of times where I could have been thinking about, stripping when I had to get some Pampers or some milk or food or pay a bill or something like that. So none of
Right.
us are, we're all 6 inches from probably stepping in the club doing it ourselves. Like, let's be real here. And some of them are
Yeah.
out, some of them out here doing the same thing and they ain't getting a dime for it. So I mean,
Exactly.
you
Yeah,
got to
that's
be
why we can't judge. I know that I've been in positions where I wouldn't have stripped, but I sure would have put a pistol in somebody's face. And that doesn't work.
right.
That's
Or being in the car with somebody who was doing it like, yeah, we about to sprint this stack. You know what I'm saying? I got
well,
bills.
I probably
Yeah,
would have been the one doing it, but either
yeah,
way, it's wrong. But
yeah.
sometimes life push your back against the wall and you do what you got to do.
It is very, very true. And sometimes people don't know another way. Like you can't
Yes,
expect for people to do something different if they don't know about the different, if they haven't been
right,
exposed to the different. You know what I'm saying? I think a
right.
lot of people would make better choices like if they knew. Hell, I know I would have. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Looking at
absolutely.
something like, dang, if I knew 10 years ago, even half of, what God has taught me and shown me now, I'm like, man, I'd have been a bad mama jam at 31.
Yes,
She
yes,
would have been on it, okay? But it didn't work out like that. So you go through whatever you go through to get on the other side and to do better, to make better choices, and to go
right,
back and help somebody else, but to help them in love, not in
right,
judgment, not going in there like, oh girl, why you stripping? Why you doing this? Why you on the street? No, no,
right.
that's a turn off. You know what I'm saying? Nobody don't want to hear that. You think they don't know what they're involved in? You think they don't know? They
Exactly.
already know that. They don't need nobody
Right.
coming telling them that. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to
Exactly.
tell them anything, educate them on how they can use those skills to be a car salesman or something. Because I think they're some of the best
Right.
salespeople, if you ask me.
Exactly. And show them love. Show them love. I mean,
Right.
that's what we really supposed to do. If we're followers of Christ or followers of God, we're supposed to show
Exactly.
love more than judgment. So that leads me to our next topic, which I cannot wait to get into because this has been something that has been really near and dear to me. It
Mm,
is the topic of unresolved trauma.
yes.
And
Yeah.
I noticed that you had been talking about it on your show.
Yeah.
And I said, oh my God, I have got to get with her so that we can talk about this because I don't think people understand trauma, the experience of trauma. It has been scientifically known to change your DNA. It can
Yeah.
literally,
Yeah.
biologically change you as a person,
Yeah.
let
Change your
alone
chemical makeup.
psychologically.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
we have, as a Black community, a lot of our people have experienced trauma, and most of us have generational trauma that we don't even know
Right.
where it came from.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to us a little bit about your experience with unresolved trauma.
Oh my goodness. My own trauma, my own unresolved trauma, stuff that stuff I didn't know really what it was, and
Mm-hmm.
stuff I just didn't want to deal with because I honestly I just wanted to be mad at some stuff. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to be pissed off at that person. It ended up turning me into a person that by 2007, yeah, by 2007 when I lived in Atlanta, I didn't even want to look at myself in the mirror.
Mm.
Yeah, that unresolved trauma got me like that. It got me to the point where I got in the mirror one day and I was just like, why are you so mean to everybody? Like what happened to you? What's wrong with you? Like why are you
Yeah.
so nasty? Why do
Yeah.
you get so much joy out of cursing somebody out? You know what I'm saying? Because our tongue can definitely be a weapon. And for some of us, it's like a high powered battle axe. I'm
Yes,
one
it
of those
is.
battle axe people with my tongue. My tongue
Mm-hmm.
will hurt me more than, physical stuff. But it got me in the mirror to really start to self-examine myself. I
Yeah.
started to exhibit behaviors um, from what I learned at home growing up that I didn't like. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I was like, girl, if these kids come out messed up, it's gonna be your fault. The way you
Yeah.
talk to them, the way
Yeah.
you yelling all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how my mom did us. Just as it was like, do as I say, not as I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I never wanted that. You know what I'm saying? Like you always like, oh my God, I'm not gonna do this with my kids because this was terrible. I'm not gonna say this. I'm not. But then your unresolved trauma leads you down that path where you just start mimicking every doggone thing that you've learned, and you don't add
Right.
somebody a little new school stuff onto it. You know what I'm saying? So it got to a point where I didn't even want to look at myself in the mirror.
Yeah.
Colored hair, and I love my colors, but I didn't want to look
Yeah.
at Kisha because she was not a pretty person. Let me put it like that. And I can just be honest about it. She wasn't pretty. I didn't like the way I even talked to my husband. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was rude. I was nasty. I didn't have respect,
Mm-hmm.
for the man in the house or whatever. And that's because that's what I saw growing up.
Right. And
You
that's
know?
because of the things you experienced that traumatized you.
Right.
And I think
Exactly.
that what we're hearing you describe is not unusual. I was like that. And then we can look in our own lives, in our own circle, and we see people that's like that now.
Now,
You know,
exactly.
they can't go anywhere in public without cussing at least one person out.
Right.
Somebody,
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
for me, my trauma started so early in life to the point where I just thought I was mean. I thought I was just a mean person. So I knew that
Right.
I was nice to my friends and family, but if anybody crossed me, and I mean any little cross,
Mhm.
I'm ready to kill them.
Right.
Not push them down. I'm ready to actually commit a homicide. That's how
Right.
bad I was. I was horrible. And I
Hmm.
knew that there was something wrong because, I would get in these fights at school, and I'm telling you, I'm trying to take their head off. It ain't no
Right.
negotiation, ain't no arguing back and forth. It's just, I'm trying to go for your throat. And to
Yes.
be so
Yeah.
young, I had to do, try to determine what was wrong. And I got a lot of things of people saying, "Oh, you just like your great grandmother. That's a bad temper. She's just
Hmm.
hot, she hot-headed, she just quick-tempered." But it wasn't that. It was a lot of trauma I experienced as a child. And
Right.
sometimes in Black families, one thing I can say for myself as a Black family is people did not want to talk about child abuse. And in some situations, I was abused as a child. I was just flat out abused. It wasn't
Hmm.
no whooping. It wasn't like she got a whooping. No, it was flat out abuse. And that type of thing traumatized me.
Yeah, of course. Yes. And I
So
think so some people are even born into trauma. You
yes.
understand? Like you're just born. I know like for myself, not I am one of those people I really have to watch myself when it comes to my emotions and my feelings because I don't have that connection with my mother nor my biological father. I don't have that
Mhm.
like that solid connection that little babies and little children like really bond with their children. You know, if you even go back to when you had your kids and they're little babies and you're like holding
Yes,
them and
yes.
you know rubbing on them and like they're I had one child that we his nickname was Sticky because he stuck to me everywhere I went in the house, you know. You know, he
Wow.
didn't do anything different. So his nickname is Sticky. So I didn't have that with I didn't even meet my biological father until I was like 13 or 14 years old.
Wow.
Nobody told me anything about him. I knew his name and I knew some of the family members on that side because they lived down the street from my grandmother. So these people had the same Gatlin last name than me. Everybody in my house have, you know, a different last name. So that was traumatic. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Then I didn't even know that my sister's father wasn't even my real father until, you know, I was like 6 years old or whatever. You know, that was traumatic because now I feel like I don't belong. I always felt like I didn't belong anyway because I didn't have those real connections with my parents. But now
Right.
I'm the only one in the house with a different last name. Now I really feel like I don't belong. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. I do. Amazingly enough, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah,
I
and
was,
then you treat it differently. You know what I'm saying? My
yes,
mother did treat me differently. You know, and people try to excuse that or make things. And I don't know if it's because of necessarily because of the relationship she had. Like I don't even know how. I don't even know my parents' story to know how
mhm.
Kisha Nicole got to be here. And I'm
Wow.
40. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I don't care, but that bothered me for a very long time because it felt like I didn't belong to anybody. Like I
Yes.
didn't belong to nobody. You know, I felt like I was a freaking orphan living in the same house with my mom with my mother, my stepfather, and then my two sisters. But again, I'm the
Mhm.
only one that's different. I had this outside family and stuff. I see them when I go to school. I never was really allowed to go to their homes and really get to know my family. And I'm living down the street from them. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
You know how traumatic and crazy that is
That is.
to want to know your family and to want to be with your cousins and stuff, but nobody on your mother's side is even like really pushing for that. No one's saying anything. Nobody talked to me about my dad. Nobody really talked to me about my family. My grandmother always just told me, who was my mother's mother, she just always told me that no matter what, I want you to always know that those people loved you. Like that's all I ever knew. She always told me
Wow.
that. I don't care what happened. I want you to know that they loved you, that they loved you, that you. So I'm like, okay, but I don't really know what that means because I don't really know, you know, the story. So
Right.
yeah, being born into trauma and then being re-traumatized over and over and over again, going throughout the years, and then learning those bad behaviors. Wait, now I'm putting trauma on myself.
Yes.
And to
Yes.
the point I'm pregnant at 16 with a baby.
Well, what happens is you go through all these things, and like you said, you become traumatized over and over again. And
Mm-hmm.
then to cope with trauma, you pick up other behaviors just to cope. It's a coping
Yes,
mechanism, whether
yes,
it's getting to relationships too young or whether it's using substances. Well, whatever it is, people do try to cope.
yes.
You just do what you do to cope.
Yeah, and you make up these defense mechanisms. You know, I didn't like people touching me, getting close to me, and whatnot. Like I didn't want people to, you know, I had my invisible barrier, and if you
Yeah.
got too close to that barrier, you know what I'm saying? Then the alarm
Yeah.
in my mind goes off, and I'm like, whoa, you got to back up because you're just getting too doggone close. Because in
Yes.
my mind, the two people that brought me into this world did not care enough about me to take care of me. So why would y'all care about me? So now,
Yes.
now, no, now I feel like nobody cares. So now I don't want none of y'all near me. Period.
Well,
Point blank.
see,
All y'all stand back 10 feet. You know what I'm saying? Because
I
again,
do.
the two
Yeah.
people that's supposed to love you the most, that's supposed to protect you the most and care about you the most, in my mind, they don't even care about me. Because my dad's not here. I don't really feel like he's fighting to be here in my mind. You know what I'm saying? As
Right.
a teenager thinking. And then my mom talks to me like crap and treats me like
Yes.
crap. I mean, to the point where one time she told me when I was 15 she was going to poison me and kill me. And she wasn't playing. And that was
Wow.
the day I stopped eating food in her house. You
My
know what I'm
God.
saying? So yeah, if in the kid's mind, if your parents don't care about you, if your
Then who?
parents don't love you, Yeah, the two people that's supposed to be, especially your mother, man. Like if your mom, like everybody knows. I'm sorry, but I feel like everybody always. I don't want to say you love your mom more than you love your dad, but like real moms can't be replaced. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
I do.
a real mother cannot be replaced. I don't care how much money she got, how much money she don't have.
But
But when you,
also, a bad mother can do more damage than
then
a bad father. A
yes,
bad mother can do years and years and years of damage.
hey,
And for
I'm living
and you
proof.
know, and I am too. And although my mother is my Facebook friend, we do not talk. We haven't talked in probably 10 years because we are estranged. But I allow her to be a Facebook friend. But at the same time, she knows that I have a show. She knows that I talk about my life. And I don't sugarcoat nothing because I don't have to lie about what happened to me. I don't have to lie about the way I was treated. I was abused as a child.
Right,
That's the end of it. Case closed. I was
right.
abused. And then at the same time, I felt like you did. If my parents do not protect me, if my parents, then who am I? Who gonna protect me? You
Then
learn
it
at
did.
an early age.
Yeah,
Yeah, you learn at an early age that you're on your own. Let me
that's
tell you
right.
something. I was so traumatized as a kid that I didn't even, and I was laughing about this with my son. I didn't trust nobody. And when I say nobody, I was looking at my teachers crazy. If they ever try to touch me, even just give me my paper, put it down on the desk. That's how bad I was. I was
Right.
so bad that when we used to get the cereal at home, the cereal box, I would tell my little brother, "Ain't no prize in there." He says it
Oh my,
says it's a prize on the inside. I said, "You can't trust nothing. You really think there's a prize in that box?" And he used to
right.
look at me like, "Something wrong with you. Something is wrong with you." I didn't
Mhm.
trust anything.
Yep.
Anything that was told to me, I had no faith in.
Yeah, it makes you suspicious of everything and everybody that comes along. And sometimes there are some people who don't even have no ill will. You know what I'm saying towards you, but you put that on that person because of your own trauma, your own crap, and your own experiences that you've been through. And then not to mention the secrets that Black families keep. I can only talk about Black families because I've been in a Black family. I
I'm
don't know.
black, right?
Yeah, but we keep a lot of secrets, and I'm
Yes.
like, yo, secrets will kill you.
They
You
will
know what
literally cause you to
I'm
have high blood
saying?
pressure.
They will literally freaking kill you. Are you crazy to not
Yes.
for your ancestors? You're not even your ancestors, but like your grandmother and your mother and your aunties not to explain to you or tell you or share their experiences so that you can even if we're going to make some pitfalls, but I feel like some pitfalls we don't have to make if the elders would have had the guts. I call it the
Yes.
gut. In my mind, they were weak. I'm sorry.
Yes. Some of them, yes.
A lot of them were very, very, very weak and did not
Yes.
even, didn't keep it 100 and didn't tell or whatever for whatever reason. And I'm not going to go back and talk about this slave, and I know that that has an effect on some, but at some point, somebody's got to break the cycle and say,
Right.
hey, I want better for the family. I want better for the lineage. I want better for those coming after. And in my family, it was me because everybody else decided that they want to, and they're still keeping, still wanting to be fake and phony and keep that. So, like you, I had everybody as Facebook friends and stuff. They're not happy that I speak out and say what I say, which I do not care. I just cut
Okay.
them off. Everybody's deleted and blocked at this point because anyway, the Lord told me I had to cut them off that they couldn't go, to the next level or whatever.
And let's talk about that too, because some people say, oh, and Tanya says weak or programmed. That's a
Both.
good question. Both, maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
Because let me for some people wasn't programmed because I have seen my grandmother go off on people and I've heard stories about how she has take people's head and bust them upside her brick house and stuff like that. So no, I'm not going on no program. If you can be strong in that area, then you can be strong for your family. You know what I'm saying? So no.
But I
Some
think
people.
too, a lot of it is trauma that they experience. So they kind of checked out. So now you allowing that trauma to pass down to your kids and to your kids because you didn't resolve the trauma that you experienced. And that's why we're called, I'm saying unresolved, because everybody experienced some type of trauma. We came from slavery. So of course we got some trauma. But I think that when you don't resolve it, that's when it's a vicious cycle. It goes into your children's lives, their children's lives, anybody they become attached to, anybody you become attached to. That's a problem. And
It's a huge problem.
that's why we have to learn to resolve it. But I agree with you. First, you got to see it for what it is and not keep it a secret. You can't hide it. You can't. That's not going to help. So yes, Tanya, right. Generational trauma. Yes, indeed. I want to
Mm-hmm.
speak a little bit about what you said about secrets, because I think that, I'm just going to give my opinion on this. This is just my opinion. I believe that sometimes our religion gets in the way of us getting free, because folks will say, well, I didn't repent for that. I didn't got saved. I understand you done got saved, but we need to uncover what you did. We
Well,
need
you
to
know what?
uncover what happened.
Since you bring up religion, that's why I'm always telling people there's a difference between religion and relationship.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, there's a difference. Now, yeah, religion, bondage will keep you in bondage. Yeah, but when you have a relationship with the Father, then you know He does not want you holding no secret. Period. Point
Right.
blank. He will straight up tell you that. Okay, but when you're in religion and you got all these rules and all this other foolishness that the Lord ain't never sat down and told nobody nothing about, it's some crap that you and your pastor done came up with, or you and the
Right.
usher, then yeah, that's what you have. So yeah, you have a lot of people too that's calling religion, because even looking back at how my grandmother could not mind her business and had the nerve to make sure that me and my sisters went to church and stuff. When I look back on it, I'm gonna keep it 100. I don't believe my grandmother had a relationship with God.
Yeah.
I don't. Now she did introduce me to Him. I feel like she introduced me to Him with as much knowledge about Him as she knew. But the way she
Mm-hmm.
operated in her life, that does not show me or depict to me a relationship. You understand
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yes,
That
I
doesn't show
do.
me relationship. It shows me religion. Okay. And that was something I definitely did not want from her. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. That's what it was,
Yeah.
period blank. So there's a
Right.
difference in that.
It's a huge difference. And that's why I make a point of saying religion, because I'm a
Right.
very spiritual person, but I'm not religious at all. I don't
Exactly.
believe in these rituals that end in nothingness. So you do all these rituals year after year after year, but there's no growth, there's no healing, and
Right.
everybody just as bound as they can be. And this
Exactly.
gets in the way, because to me, when you have wronged somebody, when you're in a right relationship with God, you want to go make that right. You want
Exactly.
to get that right. You're
Girl,
not
that's
covering it up.
you so bad because you be like, God gonna get me if I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like if I don't, I'm gonna lose my next blessing. Like that's stuff I be really thinking about. Like, you know what I'm saying? He might not do something for my kids or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things that I think about, even when I know I'm in the wrong. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, yeah,
I don't think people think about that when they're in religion. I don't know. Relationship just makes you wanna. It makes you want to be right. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I feel like
yeah,
it makes you want to do right. It makes you want to be the best person. It makes you, because you really start to take on like the mind of Christ and the mind of God. Like God, he's an open minded God within His parameters. You understand what I'm saying? And
right,
they're not like prison bar parameters. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta wear pants on this day or a skirt on this and red on this day. Like what are you talking about? Like that's foolishness, man.
right.
That's not of God. Period. Point blank. He has never even treated me like that, and I don't believe He treats other people like that. No.
Well, how
So
can a God that created all humanity even give any type of care to minutia like what color you wear? That's ridiculous.
right,
Because some people in other countries wear all type of colors, they wear all type of color hair, all type of makeup. That mean they
right,
don't know God? It's ridiculous. It's
right. Exactly.
absolutely ridiculous. I've always had a problem with that, because when you lose the foundation of what God is about, God is love. So if
Mm-hmm.
you have all these secrets in your family, and
Right.
you, especially when you have a family member like you or a family member like me who trying to get it right and say, let's bring some healing to this. Let's resolve these things. And then you want to just keep putting up these facades and keeping these secrets. You definitely don't know God. You can't.
Exactly, and that's why I said I feel like people in my family were religious. Like they
Yes,
went to church every Sunday. But what did you go to church for? What did
right.
you go to church for? When y'all can't even say I'm sorry to each other or I
Yes,
apologize. Like, what, why are you going to Sunday school morning service and then going back for afternoon service at 4 o'clock? But you can't even apologize to your sister that you wronged in your family. Like I'd be so confused. I would,
yes,
even with people, even with the racial stuff. you know what? Rightfully so. We deserve to be heard. We deserve to be seen. We deserve to have all our rights. But so does the person in your family that gets treated like crap that all of y'all know about. But y'all
Yes,
out, but you on the street rallying for the whole nation, but you won't rally for the person in your family? Are you kidding
exactly. Come on
me?
now.
Seriously. No, it pisses me off. Seriously.
Yes, me
Because I see
too. And
it in my own family. Like y'all won't call
yes,
out the person that you know is wrong. Because
yes,
for a lot of families, let's keep it real now. A lot of times we have like that one drunk uncle, and then you
yes,
have that one pedophile uncle or cousin. Then you have the one auntie or cousin in the family who always doing people wrong, with on some money stuff or something like that. And I'm not trying to say like that's everybody, but just overall, we can all name that one person who fits whatever characteristic. But
right,
nobody's not going to say nothing to this person. Nobody's
right.
not going to stand up to this person and say, "Yo, you wrong. You wrong for
Yes.
that." You know what I'm
Well,
saying? But you have the nerve to go to church on Sunday and sing in the choir and lead the song. Girl, bye. Get out of here with that.
exactly. That is the problem that I had as a young adult when I became an adult because there was a lot of pedophiles in my family and they know I call them like they are. Don't come to me, don't come around me because you're going to get called out. So it was a lot of pedophiles in my family and my problem with them was the fact that if y'all know your brother, your cousin, your uncle is out here doing this, why you let generation after generation get victimized by this person? Now, he done molested the mother and the daughter. Now, what kind of sense is that? Especially if the mother got molested by him, and then you take your daughters over there, you know he a pedophile. It doesn't make any sense. It's just trauma after trauma, and it's senseless trauma at that point.
You know what? I don't. I'm not trying to judge anybody, but that's something I will never understand. I will never understand how one, two, or three, or however many people allow kids in the family to be touched by Uncle so and so, or let's not forget Auntie so and so, because
Auntie, come on. Yes.
about Auntie so and so, and nobody bars this person from the family.
Yes.
The devil is a lie. I wish somebody would touch one of these kids and I know about it, okay? Because everybody gonna know that you touched that child. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put
Yes.
it out here and I'm gonna make you feel so embarrassed and bad about yourself that you're gonna want to have to go back and apologize. That's not something I would keep under the rug. I've never been touched, but I can only imagine. I can only imagine the mental and emotional trauma and stress that a child will go through over some crap like that. You can mess somebody's mind up so they don't even know about their sexuality and stuff like that. Like, how dare you?
It's
How dare
very
you?
traumatic. I can definitely be a witness to the fact that it is extremely traumatic. It takes a lot of years to get through and to overcome. It takes a lot of work on yourself. And
Yeah,
believe it or not, it's a lot of women out here and men who are
yeah,
struggling to this day because somebody touched them and nobody said nothing. And that person's still walking around, that person's still living, and that person have not been held accountable for what they did to them. That is under unresolved trauma. That's it right there. I mean, so what would you say is a way that people can, some of the symptoms and some of the signs that you are suffering from some trauma that you had to resolve?
Oh my goodness. Well, shoot, I can start with some of mine. Bad attitude. Always
Mm-hmm.
getting into it with somebody. Mean
Mm-hmm.
and nasty. Angry about every dog. Like every time you have that family member that's just angry all the time.
Yes.
Attitude all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what
Yes.
happened, girl? Why you so angry? Why you so upset? People pleasing.
Yes.
Husband, people pleasing. You have those people that want to please everybody. Um, always feeling like they want to fit in. The need to be able to fit in. Overspending, overeating. Like there's so
Mm.
many people just exhibit it and manifest. That's the word I want to use. That trauma will manifest in so many different ways. It's oh my gosh. What else? What I said, overspending, overeating, like bad, and just it manifests in so many different ways. And I always tell people, like, you have to really sit down and start to do a self-assessment. Like, you
Yeah.
have to be It says attention seekers. Yes, attention seekers as well. But you really have to start doing a self-assessment of yourself. And that's one thing I think that we don't do enough. We don't watch ourselves.
Right. That's
We,
good.
and I started to watch myself. And I started to watch myself in 2007 because I became a youth mentor. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So now when you're a mentor, you have to start exhibiting some things that people will want to follow. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I didn't feel like I was exhibiting those things, so I had to that's when I got in that mirror and started looking at myself and really started to get real with myself. That's the other thing. You got to be real about who you are with yourself, though. Like
Right.
you got to call a thing a thing. You have to call a spade a spade. You can't be, oh, well, no, you nasty.
Yes.
You nasty. That's what
Yes.
it is. You nasty and you're mean.
Right. And
You know what
then
I'm saying?
you have to have people around you that love you enough to tell you about yourself. Sometimes people won't tell you.
That's
They'll justify, oh, she just got a short temper. That's my life story. Oh, she just got a short temper. She just got these triggers. Yes, I do have triggers. And that's a part of unresolved trauma also. Sometimes you have these things that will trigger you
right.
before you realize you done got triggered. And you
Right.
say, oh,
But you
but
know
when
what? Too? Even when it's resolved, there are things that might annoy you. Like for me, when people drink, like I don't like people drinking around me like a lot because
mhm,
a lot of people start to tell lies when they're drunk, and that
yeah,
reminds me of the million lies I've heard from my mom when she was drinking. So now I don't want to deal
wow,
with you. Period.
yes,
Point. You know what I'm saying? So even when it's resolved sometime and you're okay with that and you can even hug that person and pray for that person, there might be things that people do that remind you of that, and you don't even want to be bothered with that. Period.
yeah,
Point. I don't want no remnants of that coming with me. So if you have to do all of that and act like that, then we're gonna have to separate right now.
right,
Period. Point. So it can be unresolved and resolved. Still have those little things, and that's why you have to constantly do
the
self.
work,
Yeah, and the work is, and it's deliver. Like I call it deliverance because that's what it is
yes,
for me, for my belief. But deliverance is a lifestyle. You know what I'm
yes,
saying? You don't just get healed from something and then you're okay. No, there are good mechanisms, good things that you can do to help you stay in that realm and in that space of deliverance and staying healed. I know for myself, talking about it, that keeps me healed and delivered. You know why? Because even when I'm talking about it, I can always like now check myself. Like, is there anything in my heart? Like when I talk about it, I try to make sure I don't feel nothing in my heart. Because if you feel something there, you ain't totally healed.
right. Well,
When I talk,
that's a tool of overcoming, and even the Bible says that you overcome by the words of your testimony. And I
right.
think that people don't talk about it enough because it make other people uncomfortable. But the truth of the matter is, you have to work through this trauma. I know for a fact that relationships right now, people are having real problems with relationships because there's a lot of broken people around here. It's a lot of people that have not dealt with their trauma in their childhood, in their marriages,
Mm-hmm.
even in their financial situations they've been through. That type of thing is traumatizing. And Black people, we go from trauma to trauma to trauma. How many women have been raped? Now,
Right.
why women can say that? Because if they know somebody that's raped, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe us. It's kind of almost like an everyday thing.
Yeah, it's
It's
almost like we're
almost like an everyday
desensitized.
thing,
Yeah, it's
you
almost like
know?
we're desensitized to certain things, and that's bad too. And that should even show you that we're not dealing with stuff when we can hear stuff when we be like, dang, instead of being like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes things should really
Yes,
shock your soul.
yes. It
Like you
should
should
be a
really,
big deal.
yeah, like oh my God, I can't believe, but you be like, dang, not another one.
Yes, it should
You
be a
know,
big deal. It's
it
just like
should.
domestic violence. How many times have you seen people get beat? How many people get beat in your family?
Right.
And it's just a regular thing for us. And that's why it's so much trauma around us. Trauma
But
has become normalized.
it has become normalized, but I feel like it becomes normalized because we are not willing and strong enough to put a name on what things are.
Yeah,
Period. Blank. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? For that one time where your boyfriend might have mush you so hard that your head hit the wall. And you're like, oh, he just mushed me. Girl, do you
Yeah.
not know the beginning of domestic abuse? You know,
Yes.
like we I think it happens so much in our certain things happen so much in our culture that we downplay, what it is or whatever. I know one time last year, my 18-year-old, so he was 17. Yeah, he's 17. He was on the phone with one of his female friends from high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I walk in his room and he's like, yeah, girl. He's like, yeah, you shouldn't be letting him do that to you or whatever. And so I'm like, what's going on? So he put her on mute. They were like FaceTime and he put her on mute. And he was like, yeah, her boyfriend, is beating her up or whatever. And he's just kind of like talking to me as if it's not like a big deal. And I'm like, dude, like that's a big deal. Like, oh my God, like, is she okay? Like, is she okay? Like, has she told her parents? I'm asking him all of these questions, and he's kind of like, well, he ain't used to seeing that. So to him, it wasn't as big of a deal as it really should be. And so I
Right.
came up in there talking to him about that and, making it a big deal. Like, that's not okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, do you see your dad around here knocking me around the head or, any of that? No, you don't, because that's not supposed to be happening. And it certainly shouldn't be happening when she went to a high schooler. It shouldn't be happening regardless, but it
Right.
shouldn't be happening that young, that just like, that really broke my heart. I'm like, she didn't want to tell her parents. I'm like, girl, no, you need to go and tell your parents that this
Yeah.
child is over here hitting so we have got to start making a bigger deal about stuff. I know
Yeah.
I can be dramatic about it. I know my kids are like, oh, you're such a drama queen. Because no, it's not right. It shouldn't be happening. And
But
you
but
should
that's where the drama need to be placed. We
not,
need to
right?
place the drama there. I teach my boys that any slight need to be addressed. Any slight. You don't make
Right.
anything too small. It's never too small. You know, it's whatever being done in each home that's being seen, accepted by our children. Facts. I see what you're saying, Takesha. I agree with that. But sometimes I've always said this to my dad, and I was never blamed him for my abusive relationships, but I
Mm-hmm.
did tell him this. Every time you spanked me or gave me a whooping, you bought me a present afterwards. So you really
Mm-hmm.
was showing me something as a young girl. You were showing me that you could hurt me, but then make it all better with a present.
Right.
So
Right.
my first husband, I fell right into the trap. He would talk crazy to me and then come home with all the kind of gifts, and I would be excited. I would actually be looking for, oh, when the next time you gonna talk crazy? Because what I'm gonna get that time. And then
Right.
it graduated from talking crazy to putting your hands on me. And that's when I
Right.
was like, okay, that's too much. But
Mm-hmm.
had I never experienced that, I don't think that would have been a thing. I really
Right.
don't. Also, the first time I got hit in the face was by my mother. You should never have done that. You don't hit nobody in their face. I can understand disciplining your children however you see fit, but hitting in
Mm-hmm.
the face, especially a child, especially a girl, that's a no-no. You know.
Right.
So for my husband, when he slapped me, it wasn't nothing new. I was already mean, so I was like, "Oh, that's all you got? Oh, that's all you got? What else you
Mm-hmm.
got?" And that was, I feel like, preparation. And I know that Black people believe in whooping their kids. Me personally, I don't, because I can discipline my children when I put my hands on them. But
Right.
whatever you do, I think people have to realize that sometimes being hit by the person that you love, especially the way you hit a child, sometimes that's traumatizing, whether
Oh, it
we want
is.
to admit it or not.
And the way we talk to them. Sometimes
Yes,
I think the words are worse. I think the
yes,
words are worse and they're even more damning than and I'm not minimizing being hit, but I'm just saying sometimes I think the words can be worse because of, like, the little hit, it may, heal up or whatever, and those words, like, they start speaking that crap over you.
you
You know what I'm
never,
saying? Now it
yes,
turns into a word curse. Because now
yes,
you start believing that mess, you start manifesting those behaviors, and you start coming into agreement with that
right.
negative word that was spoke over your life by your own parent.
I'm so happy that you brought that up, because I think that that is the thing that I have said in some of my trainings when I talk to women who, I feel like a lot of times mothers create abusers, because you
Yes.
don't realize how you talking to your child is killing his
Yeah.
spirit. You
Yep.
don't
And
realize how you talking
oh my,
to him.
yeah.
Yeah, it's belittling him, and then he becomes an abuser.
And
You cannot.
demeaning. and talking condescendingly to them and just talking down to them and calling them out their names and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is just so crazy to me. You know what I mean? And when I saw myself going down that path, that's when I said, girl, if these kids be messed up, it's going to be your fault.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be your fault because of you and your mouth. You better get that mouth under control before you kill them and break them down. Like, even now talking to them, I even when I'm trying to correct them and stuff, I really think about what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it. And even in correction, I'll try to lead or I'll try to give the correction and then end with something great. Like, oh,
Right.
well, oh, wow, maybe you could have used, with my son, he likes to cook. Oh, JJ, maybe you could have put a little garlic in here, give it a little pizzazz. But this rosemary is tasting good, though. You know what I'm saying? So I try to be a little more creative and not give them correction, but also build them up at the same time or whatever. Because I know how I felt when, my mom would say all types of stuff to me or use the B word and stuff. Like, even now, to hear women call each other the B word, it drives me nuts. Like, that was never one of, even when I was younger, that was never one of, it was son or chick, or I ain't gonna lie, it was Nigga. It was that would be, you know what I mean? But I never the B word, like, just hearing that, it just does something to my soul.
Yeah.
Especially when women call each other that, like, oh my, really?
Well, again, we are the only people, and I don't care what nobody say about other races and what they do. We the only people who routinely demean ourselves and each other.
You
And
think it's cute?
yes.
I think it's cute. Oh, I'm talking to my friend in love. Man, that's not love. To what you're speaking over your friend, you know what I'm saying? And then people, I don't think people realize the power of their words.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think people realize the power of their words. And I think for some who do, they think that the power is only working on the good side. No, it works on both sides. It can't just work one way. It has to work both ways or whatever. So you're blessing and cursing at the same time when you think about it. You know what I'm saying? It was just going to be real about it.
Yes,
So,
I know for a fact. I really feel like God sat me down 2 years ago and really talked to me about words, about your mouth and the power of your tongue.
Yes.
And what I learned from that whole experience is that you got to be careful what you say in negative and in positive. And
Yes.
you also got to keep careful but the things you don't say when you know you need to say it. Because sometimes words unspoken is just as detrimental when you got the power to say it.
Yes.
Why not say it? Open your mouth. That's what it's for.
Yes.
But you'll be so quick to open your mouth and say something negative. But when somebody could be supported, you could show love, you could show a good word, you keep your mouth shut.
Right.
And that's a problem as well. So our tongue is very powerful. We have to use it. We have to use it. So I want to ask you this because I know there are a lot of people that may be watching or going to watch later that are dealing with unresolved trauma or know somebody who is. What are some things that you do? Like you said, it's a daily thing. What are some things that you do to work through trauma?
First of all, I went to therapy. I'm not gonna lie about it. Yeah, in 2007, I went to therapy. Like, that was the initial. The beginning of me beginning to work through my crap and sort out my stuff and get on that led me to my relationship with the Lord, going to therapy.
Yeah.
Because me and the Lord wasn't rocking like this in 07. You know what I'm saying? That didn't happen till like 09. You know what I mean? I got rebaptized and gave my life back to Christ. But we wasn't rocking like that in 07. And that was because of me, not because of him, of course. But yeah, so my first thing is I got help. Yeah, I went my $25 copay on my husband's insurance, and I went to a therapist. And I always say it was the grace of God, because the therapist that I had, she didn't never give me advice or anything. This woman would just ask me questions that really made me think about my actions and my thoughts. And as I would answer her questions, I would be hearing the answer that came out my mouth, and I'd be like, "Oh, you might want to change that behavior." Right? Like, cool. So she never gave me like advice. She never told me what to do. She would just ask me like thinking questions like, "Oh, well, how's that working out for you, Kisha? And I'd be like, it's not,
Right.
So it's not. That's why I'm here. But
Right.
that was the first step, was therapy. Then
Mhm.
I began my relationship with the Lord. I got baptized and all that, and I was like, Lord, it's gonna be, me and you, from here on out. So that was the next step for me. And then on my walk with God, ended up moving me here away from all of my family, all of the trauma. He because I feel like you cannot heal where you got sick. That's
Ooh,
how
that's right.
that was my experience. I
Yes.
couldn't get healing there because they were all there. They were all around, and they were just constant reminders and just their voices and just, So he moved me 900 and some odd miles away from that. So that
Yes.
was another thing. I started to have peace and clarity. You know what I'm saying? I could really begin to see things for what they were. And then some of the things that I do now to stay healed and deliver, I do arts and crafts. I listen to worship music. I work out. I bake. I journal. I used to write, but now I do like a voice journal on my cell phone. Just trying to remember every day, just going throughout my day and leaving little notes to myself or being honest about how I feel in certain situations. That's another thing. Just being honest with yourself. Like today I don't feel good, Lord. I'm pissed off about
Mm.
XYZ. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no sense in hiding it from him. It ain't like he don't know you mad about it. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? He's
Right.
really just for you to have the guts to come on and just tell him so he can help you fix it or whatever. Because you can't do it on your own. So just leaving little voice recorders and going back and listening to myself even from the year before and listening to my growth and stuff. Like that helps me to stay on the path and just helping others. Like
Mhm.
being a testimony, just helping others, walking with others on their path. That feeds my soul. Like
Yes.
seriously, it really, really feeds my soul. And to see others progress in their own healing and deliverance stage, like, oh my gosh, I got to be a part of that. Like, yay,
Yes.
it brings me it brings me great joy. But yeah, but you have to figure out what works for you. And crying, I go through self deliverance. I try to do that maybe once a week, once every other week. Just going in my prayer closet, with the Lord and just crying it out. Like crying for me really is my number one way of getting delivered from something, is being honest with God, getting in that closet and telling him like, Lord, I'm pissed off because so and so, because this happened, and just crying through that, and then worship music like behind to kind of back it up. So yeah, I
Yeah.
have plenty of things. Just going outside sometime, just smelling the air and looking at the sky or whatever. Like, oh my God, Lord, I can't believe you did that. Being grateful,
Right.
being thankful. There were times in my life where I couldn't pay bills. You know what I'm saying? There were
Mhm.
times where
Mhm.
things got cut off or whatever, and I wasn't in the financial state that I'm in now, which I'm not where I want to be, but I ain't where I was 3 years ago. I can tell you that much or whatever. So just being grateful and thankful and just always trying to remember where I could be and where I'm not. So all of those things help me to like really stay, delivered, just all of that. And
Yeah.
a whole list of more. So
Well, I can agree with all those things. For me, also, I have I call mine a Terry service. Like from back in the day when they used to tarry for the Holy Ghost. I call it
right.
a good old fashioned Terry service. I will get in my shower or in my closet and just go in and just
Yes, girl.
go in. And
Mm-hmm.
it brings me more and more and more healing. But
Yes.
I would say, like you, my first step was counseling. My first step
Mm-hmm.
was to be honest with myself. And the
Yes.
thing is, I sought counseling at a very young age. The first time I sought counseling, I was in the fifth grade. And I
Really?
sought counseling from the school counselor and I sought counseling from the pastor at my church. Neither
Gotcha.
one of those individuals could help me because, for one, they did not believe the things that I was going through. Because from the outside looking in, my family looked fine. My family looked like the perfect family from the outside looking in. So it looked like this person just wants attention.
Right.
So I don't really believe these things that she's saying. So I could not get the help when I was 12 years old. The older I got, I realized that I needed to find my own way. So that's when I started journaling. So I
Right.
became my own counselor. I would
Mm-hmm.
write my feelings down and then I would go read them later and try to figure out, why did I feel that way? What made me
Right.
feel that? And so that,
Mm-hmm.
as I got older, I realized that's what the counselor was doing.
Right.
So I really believe that God gave me the insight to be able to do that for myself because I was
Right.
in a position where I was a child and I could not seek help outside of what I had at my fingertips. It
Right.
wasn't like now. You can't get on there. We didn't have Google. We didn't have, the internet. We didn't have any of that. So all I had was my school counselor in my church, and I didn't
Hmm.
receive any help. But I thank God for a mind to want help,
Yeah.
and I had that at a very young age. But journaling helped me a lot, and I still do journaling, singing, writing music, writing songs, dancing, listening to music. But I think the point is, there's a lot of things you could do to get through. The point is to be intentional about getting healed,
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
and I think that's the point. The point is to recognize that you have been wounded, you've been traumatized, you've been injured. Now you have to be intentional about getting your healing, and there's nobody handing out, it's no healing sweepstakes out here. You
Right.
have to
No,
get it.
do the work. You know,
Yes.
you have to do the work, and there's that bit of discipline with yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You challenge yourself. Like, I don't care what happens today. I don't care how this nobody looks at me or what they say. I am not responding. I even had to do things like that with myself, challenge myself in that way. And even when I would fail the challenge, I would put myself on punishment.
Oh
I
wow. Okay.
I know my husband's like, that's the craziest thing. But even now, when I do something that I know was flagrant that I should not have done, I put myself on punishment. I'll be like, you can't have cupcakes for 2 weeks
Oh
because you
wow.
cupcakes. So yeah, I put myself on punishment and hold myself accountable to that punishment. That's what I'm saying. People got to be real with themselves.
Well, you gotta be your own best friend. I like
Yeah,
what you said about checking in with yourself, and what did you say, self-deliverance? You
self.
gotta love yourself enough to check on yourself to make sure you okay.
Yeah, because you
Because
don't want to
some
get
days you not.
things build up. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Now you're going backwards. Now you're trying
yes.
in bondage. Now you're trying to get back and digging up old wounds and stuff. So no, as soon as that feeling, that thing hit me, like even a couple weeks ago, I had a betrayal situation with a family member who was supposed to be really really close to me. And as soon as I over the weekend over that, because I confronted her on that Monday, after talking to God about it. But over the weekend, I wasn't going to say anything, but over the weekend I could feel that thing welling up in my soul, and I was like, oh no. I was like, no, because like this year had been so good, like things had turned around so well, and stuff was like really starting to work out. And I'm like, God, no, I don't want to block no blessings. I'm like, Lord, you got to help me to get this out of here, because I could feel it, girl. I could feel that thing turning in the bottom, in the pit of my
Yeah,
stomach. And that wasn't going anywhere. So immediately I was like, no, God, you got to help me with this. Like, what do I do? What do I do? And
I
that's when
know
he
that
was,
feeling.
yeah, he was like, no, confront the situation. So as soon as things start to come up, be honest with yourself.
Yes.
Allow yourself to feel what you feeling. And I even cried. I cried that whole week. I didn't sleep that much that whole, like I was so hurt. But I let myself go through it. I let myself cry. I let myself have a couple of sleepless nights. I didn't eat or whatever. And I recognize and acknowledge those things. I didn't try to pretend like I was okay. Even my
Right.
husband realized, he was like, dang, girl, I was like off the whole week, because that thing threw me for a loop.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It threw me for a loop, but I allowed myself to go through that. And then by that Sunday, I was like, boom, I'm ready for the next week. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? But a lot of people just sit up there and suppress it. They act like the betrayal or the stab in the back or the hurt or something never happened. No, allow yourself to feel it. You think God gave us emotions for nothing? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He has
Right.
emotions. So obviously, if he feels stuff, he want us to feel it, feel and go through it as well. He don't want you holding that in, bottling it in, acting like, nothing happened. And then when 10 more nothings happen, boom, now you explode on everybody. Now you don't revert it back. No, ain't nobody got time to be going backwards. I'm 41
No.
years old. I done spent 40 years or whatever doing it wrong. I don't have time
Yes.
for, I might only have for another 40 or 45. I want to do that the best way that I can. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, that is a very good point you make, because we are taught sometimes to suppress things because, it's better to look happy, it's better to act happy, it's
It's
better
better
to
to be
look like
safe.
everything's okay, save face. But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, you hurt, you broken, and you're
Yeah,
devastated,
you
and
think
there's nothing, you know.
you like
Mm-hmm.
not the
Mm-hmm.
crack. As soon as somebody tap you on the shoulder, boom, you're going down. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
As soon as somebody nudge you, man down or whatever, because you, I'm okay. I'm okay. No, boo, I'm not okay today.
Yes.
Please
Yes.
don't call me in 24 hours. I'm not okay. I'm doing
Right.
something now. You know what I'm saying? It's not you, it's me. We good. Call me tomorrow. I'm going through
Yes.
something. Allow yourself to go through it and, you know, filter all of that stuff out. Do whatever that you have to do for you. You know what I'm saying? Don't
Right.
take my routines necessarily, but figure out what works for you. What and gardening, that's another thing. You know, God started showing me how to garden this year. I love it. I never knew I could garden. I'm like, oh my God. Girl trying to grow her look, you know? So all of those things, you know, makeup. It's makeup for some people. You know, that's for me too. Is art. It's
Yes.
creativeness or whatever. So figure out what it is for you, but let those emotions flow. And teach your kids the same thing. You know, I have
Yes.
3 sons. I don't want my sons to be the men in 10 years who don't know how to open up to their woman. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And the
So
only emotion they could show is
it's
rage.
anger. Yeah, it's anger.
Yes.
No, that's not cool. No, if you upset about something, like even when we have family meetings, me and my husband, we're like, listen, y'all get to say whatever y'all want to say. It has to be respectful and no cursing or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Decency and
Right.
order. But voice your opinion. I want you to have
Yes.
your opinion. You have a voice here. You're part of this family. You live in this house. Now, it may not go your way, but you
Right.
but you had the floor to say what you have to say. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Just teaching them like, if you're upset, say if your brother pissed you off, say it at the meeting. Call, and
Right.
we even know to call family meetings. Me and him are not the only ones. Anybody in this house can call a family meeting if they have an issue with anything going on. You know, that's what we
Yes.
teach them and stuff like that. Don't hold that in, because I could see those things happen, and I'm like, no, baby, all that foolishness in my family is gonna stop here. We're
Right.
My grandkids are not going through their crap. No, no, no. The devil is a liar. I'm not going to
Yes.
have it. Others in the family can allow whatever they want to do on that side, but it ain't happening over here.
Right.
We
I
doing
I too.
over here.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
was
we do.
determined to break the cycle. I was not going to allow that to continue down in my children. I just wasn't going to allow it.
Absolutely not. So it's like whatever I got to do, whatever I have to teach them, whatever I have to model myself. You know what I'm saying? After the Lord has broke me down and rebuilt
Yes.
me up, whatever I have to do, say, and model, then that's just what I'm going to do. Even if it's me and my husband having a disagreement. Yeah, they see us have a disagreement, but they also see us resolve it too.
Right.
They
That's good.
Yeah, they also see us come back and be like, you know what, my bad. I did not have to be all snappy with you like that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We're
Yeah.
friends in 5 minutes or whatever. So they see both sides, because how can your kids learn how to make up with people and resolve situations if they're not seeing it at home?
They can't. They can't learn it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why you have so many grown people that don't know how to talk to each other in marriages or whatever, because the parents didn't exhibit it and teach it. You can't just teach it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You have to be the example and then put the words to it. You have to do that. And it's not about perfection. It's just doing your
Right.
best every day. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Do every 24 hours. Don't think about the week. Just get through
Right.
that. You know, get
One
through
day at
that.
a time.
Yeah, because what does the Bible say? Don't worry about tomorrow. It has enough cares or something of its own. I mean, knowing my scripture,
Yes.
I paraphrase, but yeah. So get through that 24 hours, and then when you get to midnight, you like, girl, yes, you did it. Pat yourself on the, give yourself a little bit of credit, and then start it
Right.
all over again. You know?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So it's daily work.
It is definitely daily work. And I just wanted to, before we wrap up our discussion, mention really briefly. I don't know if you're a fan, but I'm kind of a fan of Tamar Braxton. And I think we've all at this point heard that she was found unresponsive. And they are thinking that it was a suicide attempt. I
Right.
don't know if it was or not, but I can say this. This is a classic example of looking like you're all right.
Right.
This is a classic example of putting airs on and acting like everything is okay. And we have to stop making people feel like they got to live like this.
But you know what though? Truth be told, she never seemed all right to me, because
Yes.
she always threw like little temper tantrum. I don't know if it's stuff
Hmm.
I was in myself or others around me, but she always seemed like she had to have a drink. So I know a lot
Hmm.
of people that self-medicate. That's what that
Mm-hmm.
said to me. Not no judgment, but it says self-medication to me. She was
Right.
always a temper tantrum. And then there were also scenes where she would want to say something, but her mom would shut her down. So I
Yeah.
felt like maybe she was shut down as a child, and that's why she's so woo, 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 you know what I'm saying, as an adult or whatever. That's just my thought on it. I don't know, but that was just kind of like my thought on it as to why. And maybe she didn't get enough attention as a child, because maybe when I think she's the youngest. So as she was growing up, Tony was kind of in her career
Mm-hmm.
right at that time. So maybe a lot of the attention and stuff was on Tony, and maybe she didn't get enough, and or whatever. But she never really seemed okay to me because she just, I don't. She's a cool chick and everything, but I feel like she just did a little too much, and so she was doing that to hide and cover up other things that was going on.
Well,
That's
it's funny. It's funny that you say that because I was saying that today. She never looked right to me. She
yeah,
always, but it's just like anybody who been on drugs. A person that been traumatized can see trauma. We can
right.
see trauma a mile away. And that's the reason why I wanted to bring it up. I wanted to speak on her
Mhm.
because it fits with the topic of unresolved trauma. I don't
Right.
know if anybody saw any of the episodes where Iyanla was trying to help their family. She
Yes.
was the main one that did not want to talk about it.
Right.
And you have to talk about this stuff. You have to resolve this stuff.
But if you also notice, her mother was very resistant as well.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Mom was very, and the mom is still very, I feel like the mom is very angry still with the dad about the cheating situation and stuff. Like, to me, she seemed like she was still holding some stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Probably.
Yeah, moms are the center. A lot of times, like,
Yes.
mother's not right in the house, ain't nobody in the house right. Like, the whole
Right.
house, when I'm not right, my whole house is off. Like, the whole,
Exactly.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? The whole, everybody's kind of like, oh, mom's not doing so well today. So, you might want to leave her alone. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
feel like mom was still holding some stuff. And maybe they all are still holding some stuff because I'm going to be honest, they don't seem like they really dig into their issues.
Right.
In my opinion, I don't know. They don't seem like they really want to dig deep down. It seemed like some of them wanted to, but then some of them were very reluctant to get to the root of that thing. And I know from
Well,
experience, you don't get to the root, it's all for naught. You know what
and
I'm saying?
I can testify to the fact that it's not easy to do. It's
Yeah,
not
it's not.
easy, but
But
it
it
has to
done.
be done.
Only
Yes.
way you can get healing and true healing and deliverance, you have got to call a thing a thing. You got to call a spade a spade. I don't care who it is or what it is. You got to put that right name on it. You have
Yes.
to. You
Yes. It
have to.
has to be done.
You don't know all these fake little words like entanglement. Come on, man. Call a thing what it call it. Call it what it is. That's the only way you
Right.
get real healing, real deliverance. That's the only way. You know what I'm saying? People get. It's the only way. You have to be honest about it. It's hard to do, but it has to be done. It has to be
Yes.
done.
It definitely has to be done. And I think that when you look at women like her and women that's in the public eye, sometimes they feel this pressure to be perfect, but
Right.
then that's trickling down to regular women. And then we have to realize and understand that we're human. Above all, we are human beings, and we back like you said, we got to be able to say, I'm not okay. I
Yep.
am not okay. So,
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention her, and hopefully that we'll hear some good news. I'm definitely
Yeah.
praying for her.
And Nick
And
Cannon, he had a tweet. He tweeted something like, "Y'all can have this planet. I'm out." And that, that's concerning. I don't know if you saw the tweet or
I
whatever,
did
but
not see
he tweeted it like, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning last night. It was like, he's verbatim, "Y'all can have this planet. I'm out." So you know what I'm saying? Like, that's, and his situation with was it Viacom that fired
that.
him?
Yeah.
All of that stuff. And he wants the rights to his show and all of that stuff like that. So that's concerning as well. That is very concerning as well.
But this very timely because we have all, as Black people, experienced so much trauma, and for everybody who saw George Floyd get killed like that, that was traumatic. I don't care what nobody. It
Yes, it
traumatized. It's traumatic. And we dealing with so much from this year, from people in your personal life that have died, from Kobe Bryant, somebody that a lot of us loved, and then
right.
all the murders, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, all these people that's getting killed on camera. That's traumatizing.
It is. It is very, very traumatizing. I definitely agree. And I know a lot of people say check on your family and your friends. And while I do agree with that wholeheartedly, I want to say that family and friends, y'all have to be willing to be checked on.
Right.
You
Yeah.
have to be willing to be checked on. You have to be willing to be honest. And I'm not saying tell everybody your business. And I'm not saying but try to use some kind of discernment and figure out who it is that you can say, look, I'm not doing well when someone comes to you. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times people lie and they're not honest. They're not honest, so they don't get that word of encouragement that they need, or that different mindset, or how to look at something that they need, because you're not even opening your mouth to be, to receive or accept acceptance, some help or assistance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
just pray about it. No, all counselors aren't right, all coaches aren't right, but find somebody that you're comfortable with, someone that's going to be real with you and be honest with you, but someone who's also going to be there to walk with you through your journey. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You're
Yeah.
healing, getting over what you need, but y'all have to be willing to be checked on, at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times Black people say they don't want people in their business, but I've discovered something with social media. Yes, y'all do. Y'all
Yes,
do
you
want people in your business.
yeah, you do. They put it all on there, and
Yes,
I see it all the time on my page, and I'm just like, oh my God, like, why are you even giving your attention to that, sis? Like, it's not gonna even, you know what I'm saying? It's not going, I don't care what nobody said, but girl, focus on your business.
right.
Focus on your healing. Focus on yourself. If they talking, they talked about Jesus. They gonna keep on talking. They ain't never gonna stop talking about you. They're never gonna
Yes,
stop talking about me. So I'm gonna stop coloring my hair. The devil is a liar. It's not gonna happen until I'm clean bald. So
I
God
know
takes
that's
all,
right.
He takes every strand. That's when I'm gonna stop. No,
Yes,
something to talk about. If they want to see a show, give them the best doggone healed and delivered show that you can manufacture and
absolutely.
produce. That's what they want to do.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? Give them the best show. Give them something that they'll want to even they want to be. They want to not be you, but they want to do what you're doing, and some kind of like,
Yeah,
oh my God, how is she so healed? How is she so free and stuff? Like, stop worrying about what they're saying and what they're doing. I see it all the time on my timeline, and sometimes I even I want to inbox people like, girl, why do you keep giving attention to that? You know what I'm saying? You're trying to be a business owner. You're trying to be a mom. You're trying to be a nonprofit owner. You're trying to do all of this stuff, but then you just keep on giving attention to the stuff that don't deserve your attention. Like, I even had to stop doing
yes,
it myself because it got to be non-productive. Like, this is
right.
not, now it's to the point where, how is this improving my life? With anything and
Yes,
everybody, like, period. Well, I don't care if you have the same DNA in me as me.
right,
How are you impacting my life or my ministry or my business in a positive way?
right,
And if you're not, I don't even have time for it no more. Like, for
right.
what? People ain't got no heaven or hell to put you in. Like,
Absolutely.
stop giving your time and attention to it, sisters and brothers. Like, for real, and y'all do want people in y'all business, because we only know y'all business because it's on our
Because
timeline.
you put it out there. Exactly.
Yeah, but I don't know if they really realize. That's why I say you have got to analyze yourself. Even in Facebook memories is a good reminder of some of the crazy folks that I
Yes,
was like, wow, who was that chick? Like,
yes.
oh, I'm so glad I'm not her no more. Thank you, Lord.
One of my memories came up from like 10 years ago, and I don't know what I was on. I had posted, I got 99 problems, but a nigga ain't one. I said, my God.
You know, growth is real. Me and my husband laugh about it all the time. We be like, these doggone Facebook memories, though. But no, it's great though, because it really shows you your growth. You be like, what in the world? What was I
Yes,
smoking that day?
yes.
That must have been some green. That must have been some real ganja for me to type this on Facebook. Like, oh my God, I I'd be mortified today if I did that. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Yeah, like I don't even think that way anymore. I'm not that person no more. I don't even want to be that person. You know what I'm saying? It's different when you're doing that stuff and you want to be that way. I don't even want to be that way. I don't even want to think those thoughts, say those things. Like who has time for it?
right, right.
I don't anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's about kingdom business, regular business, your family, yourself. Like put that energy and time into yourself, into your children, into what you really have that's going on, that's going to be productive, not only for yourself, but for other people in the world, because other people are watching you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Whether we admit it or not, people are watching you. And again, it's never about perfection. I always try to remind people it's never about perfection, but give it a good try.
exactly. Yeah, definitely.
And I feel like that's what God really wants from us. He knows we cannot be perfect. He knows we are not going to make the mark because we are
Right,
not Jesus. Let's just keep it
right.
above. You understand? But he wants at least a good try. Like,
Yes.
can you muster up a good try? You know what I'm saying? Can you just, can you get a
Yes,
good the size of a mustard seed? Can you try me the
right.
size of a mustard seed? You're trying your faith. I think that's what he wants from us. Just show me that you're trying, and I'll come in and put my super on your natural. But some people just not trying, Lisa. Like
Yeah,
some
that's
people,
true. That's true. But and I think because some people, like I said, expect things to fall out the sky. But faith without works is dead. And you can't get no plainer than dead. Dead is just dead. That
right?
means ain't nothing happening. So you
Nothing.
have all the faith in the world, but if you don't give up and like you said, give it a good try, it ain't doing nothing. It ain't going nowhere.
And to
So
challenge you have to if you have to start. I started off with little challenges. Literally like, okay, today's a new day, Kisha. You're not gonna tell nobody, or I don't care what they say to you. I don't care what they do. I don't care how they cut you off. It doesn't matter. You're not gonna say one negative thing out your mouth.
yes,
Like, and try it for 24 hours. Even with the
that's
post,
good.
yeah, even with the posting, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna post if it's not uplifting, if it's not empowering, if it's not a little laugh or a joke. Because I'm a clown. I didn't have much of a childhood, so as an adult, I take that kid thing a little too far at times. If it's not a joke for somebody, a good joke, not nothing bad or ridiculous, but a joke, or something with your business, don't post it.
Yes.
Period. Point blank.
Well,
You know,
I have started to allow myself to get off if it's anything is bothering my spirit. Usually I will keep scrolling. Oh, that bothered me, but I'm gonna keep scrolling. Oh, that bothered me too, but I'm gonna keep scrolling. Now, if my spirit get upset, I get off. I'm gonna get all the way off. And I
right?
will come back another time.
Or learn another good tip on Facebook, the unfollow button. Some
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because some people, you be like, dang, I know this person in real life, but maybe they going through something these 60 days. So I'm just gonna unfollow you for a little while because I'm of the mindset that you're not gonna bring my timeline down. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, I have too many bosses. I have too many people on the timeline like doing things. Well, I say congratulations about 10,000 times a day, and happy
Yeah.
birthday, and oh my God, and all this stuff. You're not going to bring my timeline down because I don't have that foolishness. I can choose who I be connected to. You understand what I'm
That's
saying?
a good point. Yes.
I, I get to choose who I'm connected to and what I see on my timeline. You know what I'm saying? This is a dictatorship. This is not a democracy.
Right.
So you have those people unfollow for a little while.
Yeah,
That's
that's
all
a
you
good
have to
point.
do.
I need to start doing that for
Yeah,
sure.
just unfollow. I don't have to unfriend you because hey, people do. They go through their little things, and I don't have control over keyboard killers. So I'm just
Right.
gonna unfollow you. You know what I'm saying? Till you come back to the person that I know and met at the conference last year. I want to know her.
Yes.
What I'm saying? I want to know her again.
Yes.
Unless the Lord tells me something different. But just my own self, I just hit unfollow. You're not gonna
Yeah,
bring my
that's a good
timeline
point.
down. Mm-mm. You're
Yeah.
not gonna bring my timeline down. Like when it starts to affect me, and I had to put a post up like that a couple weeks ago. Like, you know what? With some of y'all, I can't. Y'all double minded. One day, you know what? It's praise the Lord, God's gonna do it. Romans 8:28, and then the next day it's you killing folk, you about to bust somebody in the head. No, that's double mindedness. You have got to pick a lane, boo.
Yeah.
No, you cannot go backward, and forward at the same time. It don't work like that. Pick
You
a
know,
lane.
it's like sometimes people think you're not watching. I saw what you posted last week, and then this week you posted something totally. I am watching. Like we are on here.
Yeah,
That's
you know,
option too.
pick a lane. If you want to be angry, then I know that you're angry and you just need some healing and deliverance. But then you just kind of flipped on me, and then you started talking about you walking with Jesus. I'm like, okay, well, which
Mm,
Jesus are you walking with?
right, Jesus, you walking with Jesus Ruiz.
You must be with Jesus. From Lami Shakana. No, his name is not Jesus. You know, you got confused. So, you know what I'm
Lord.
saying? So you got to seriously, but yeah, that unfollow button, I'm telling you, it'll save your life, sis. Use it, Lisa. I'm
I'm
telling
gonna
you,
get into
unfollow.
that. I'm gonna get into that. Well,
Yeah.
I thank you for this discussion. It's been really good, which I knew it would be. I want to switch gears a little bit and talk to you about some of your other business ventures that you have going, and tell people more about what you're doing in your businesses and your
Um,
husband.
and my husband, oh gosh. Okay, so Jay has his ball peanut business. I had no idea that people really love ball peanuts and eat them like that. I mean, personally, I think they're disgusting. It's a soggy peanut. Like that gets cooked for hours, but people they love him. I don't know. They love him. So he's only been in business a month, so he's doing well, and I see that growing. And I'm helping him like to create other products like the homemade peanut butter and oven roasted
Oh,
peanut.
wow.
Yeah. So I'm helping him to create those things and market that. And then with embellish, I'm a little bit on hold because I had started my embellish and sip experiences, but
Oh, yeah.
until COVID, kind of dies down, the Lord had given me some other ideas, and He was like, just chill until I, give you the go ahead on that. So I'm kind of just doing the online thing with that. And more of my focus is on my nonprofit, Pink Love Houston. My end goal with that, and I am actually have been working on and still working to open up a wellness and recovery center, Matthews
Mm,
Healing. Yes, it's going to be a city in a city. It's going to be It's going to be transitional home, residential, like all of that. And so God just gave me like this whole dope blueprint on,
wow.
yeah, how to people to come there. I'm going to be working so that it can be like a luxury wellness and recovery, like mental health, center. But my
Mm-hmm.
goal is that regular people like yourself and myself will be able to go for little or nothing or zero. Like I
Oh,
told
wow.
because I feel like that would have done me some good if I could have just
Yeah.
went away somewhere for a month
Yeah.
or 2 months or
Yeah.
whatever. We don't have the money to go nowhere. I worked at one here, and it costs $12,000 a month for
Wow.
to be there. Who has $12,000 a month as a you know what I'm saying? No. So I'm like, Lord, even doing the street ministry, that would get my heart because there was nowhere to really refer these women to, and that would bug me to be out there knowing that they needed help, they needed resources, they needed services. Now, it's not just therapy. They need
Right.
training. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like a whole mental and emotional reworking that people need or whatever. And not just them, just even regular people sometimes. Sometimes you
Yeah.
just go through death or divorce and it just, gets you out of your mind for a moment. But who has the time and the money to go and take the time that they need for recovery?
Right.
Well, you know what I'm saying? You take your car to the mechanic to get well. Well, sometimes you have to take your brain somewhere,
Right.
your heart somewhere in order to
Mm,
get well. And so that was something that really weighed on me, and it stopped me from doing street ministry because it got to be too heavy. I'm like,
mm-hmm.
Lord, I'm coming out here, but I ain't got nowhere to send these people. Like that was really, really helpful because I feel like I'm not doing my job.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? Me getting out there, giving you a little baggie with some tissue and some little toiletries and praying for you, knowing that you need more than that. And I can't give it to you. Like that really, really bothered me. And so I said, God, we got to do something. And it has to be
Yeah.
something. And I told him it has to be something where these people ain't got to pay nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you
Well,
give me, they nothing.
it's definitely doable. We have this is the country that we live in that spend millions of dollars on football stadiums and, a foolishness in my eyes when you got people living on the street. So it's definitely doable. And
Really, because I am learning how to write grants. And
mm-hmm.
I am going to find grants and I'm going to build Matthew's Healing. It's going to happen. Period. Point blank.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's done. It's not just
It's
doable.
definitely needed. I mean, you sound like an empath, like I am, a person that can really feel. You know what's going on because you can feel it in your spirit. For me, that's what stopped me from going to certain churches. The people were so
Right.
grief stricken, and I
Yes.
was like, my God, how's the people in here hurting so bad? I can't take it. It was too overwhelming for me feeling their spirit.
Yeah,
So I can only imagine.
that stops me from even walking in my neighborhood at times. Just like doing my laps. Because I'm just
Yes,
like, oh, all of
yes,
them in the neighborhood. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna work out in the garage because it gets
yes,
overwhelming. Even though I know how to give it back to God, but just knowing, like, or even being in Walmart and feeling people, it's that prophet gift, and seeing things, literally seeing what people are going through, and I'm like, Lord, why
yes,
you telling me this? You know what I'm saying? But he has charged me with the task of caring for his people.
right.
So me and him have a covenant, and I told him, I said on July 1st, 2020, I said, God, I said, if you take care of my children, I promise you, I'll take care of yours.
Right.
Everyone, every single one you bring to me, I promise I will take care of them if you take care of mine. So that's our covenant. So for me, I have to do it. You know what I'm saying? Other
Hmm.
than it's a vendetta because the enemy has touched one of my own in a mental
Right.
health way. You know what I'm saying? And my son is trying to
Hmm.
come back from that or whatever. But like the devil put his hand on my child, so I can't let him get away with that.
Right. Right.
No, 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 no. So this is personal for me. It has become very, very personal. Like this has got to be my life's work to
Hmm.
build Matthew's healing and to get this thing going for God's children and God people. Because the devil tried to take mine. Not only did he try to take me, but he's gonna try to take my child, my oldest male seed. So no, it's personal now. So I have to do it. Like there's
Yeah.
no if and buts about it. Like it's gonna get done. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's gonna get done. And so I'm just committed to opening up this center. I'm committed to our people, and I'm not shunning anybody else away. But I feel like I know what my people need. You know what I'm saying? And God has
Right.
given me the plan for it or whatever. So I'm committed to getting our people in there, getting them healed, whole, and delivered and set free. So they can come out here and return the favor to somebody else and do kingdom work. Be an
Yes.
be an asset to everybody that you come in contact with.
Right.
I'm committed
Absolutely.
to it. Yeah. So that's what I
Well,
have. That's my main focus right now is to learn these grants and stuff. I just wrote my first budget and budget narrative, so I'm so happy about that
yeah,
or
that's
whatever.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm learning that or whatever. But yes, Matthew's Healing, a wellness and recovery center. Remember that name because it is going to be manifested and constructed. I guarantee that.
Well, we definitely want to be able to support you in any way because we know that it's certainly needed. And I just will say that, we the I try not to get too spiritual because a lot of people can't really receive it, but I feel like I can do that with you.
Yes.
The spirit of Esther have been on me for years. And
Wow.
Esther was the type of woman who had a burden for her people. And
Right.
that's what you sound like. You sound like that spirit that I have to do it. It's
I
something
do.
that I have to do. And that's what
Hmm.
this has been for me, even with the show, the radio shows and stuff, because I know that what you said about words are powerful. And
Yeah.
even if a person catch 30 seconds of something you said, if they catch 15 seconds, it could change their life, it could change their trajectory in life. That's why
Yeah.
I take these things very seriously because that spirit is heavy, it's heavy in the earth right now. And hopefully
Hmm.
other women will heed that call because our people are struggling and our
Yeah.
people are dying. And it's a
Yep.
whole bunch of Esther's out here. It's a
Yeah.
whole bunch of Esther's out here that need to
Hmm.
be hearing the spirit and need to be getting on their post because
Yes.
it's a lot to do. It's a lot to
Yeah.
do.
It's
So a lot
a
of
kingdom
different
work to do. And God has mandated us to, handle a certain part in the kingdom, and so I just take it very, very seriously. Like when people try to play with, like I don't play when it comes to, I definitely don't play when it comes to God. That you get them
yeah,
wrong with that. But then when they start like trying to make jokes like about mental health and things of that nature, like you'll make an enemy out of me real quick. Like
yeah,
seriously, I don't play when it comes to that because God, I feel like God has he thought enough of me to clean me up in my own mess and then say, hey, I want you to go back out there and do this for my children. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Like, I don't
yes.
take it lightly.
Right. You can't.
No,
And that's
that's nothing
because it's on you.
to, yeah, there's
It's
nothing
definitely
to,
on you. And one thing about trauma, I say this to my children, and I say this to people that have experienced trauma, and especially all Black people, regardless of what you believe, we have hit the lottery, because trauma, and especially being Black, will give you
Mhm.
strength that other people do not have.
That's
But
right.
don't let your strength go to waste, because we some strong people. We
Yes.
very strong.
And we are so creative.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, we are so creative, man. People they're even more creative than myself in certain realms, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, some of the things that I see, and even some of like the crafting groups, and even with food in the food groups, how they plate the food, and
Yes.
even stuff that I don't even eat myself, but I'm like, that looks delicious. You know what I'm saying? Like that takes creativity, you
Because
know?
the blessings is in our burdens.
Yes.
And the sad part is, when we try to neglect we try not to acknowledge the burdens, but the burdens been on us. That's what a blessings is. So when you
Right.
don't acknowledge that and don't resolve those things and just take it in stride, you can't really be a blessing. And that's the
Right.
reason why I was so excited to have you on the show. And because it's all over you. It's all over you. I mean, it's just all over you. The
Girl, because that's where I
creativity,
found my
the
strength.
light.
Yeah, that's where I found my strength. It was in my darkest
Yes.
times of being here, when God was really, when I was in that pit. Like I tell people, I was in that pit for 8 years. That's an experience I will never forget. And I ain't never going back. I ain't never going back.
Yes.
But it's something I will never ever forget. But that was when I found out like how strong I was, and how like
Yes.
plausible and how smart and creative and how much I was like the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like sometimes I actually take on his emotions and I take on his thoughts and all of these kind of things. Sometimes for me, it's almost like he like takes me out of my body and puts me to the side and he starts working in there. And like that's some
Yes.
of the best parts of my day, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like I'm on the outside looking at me and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe she's saying this stuff. Like she's so smart, but it's not really her. You know what I'm saying? It's the Lord working through me, and I'm completely clear on that. But it's amazing. And I know he just wants to do that for everybody. But
Yes.
if
Yes.
you let him, you just let him just come inside and do that for you. I just try to get people to understand like healing and deliverance is there for you if you want it. All you have to do is just take it and grasp it. It's yours. Like he ain't holding that back from nobody. Nobody. He has enough for
But you know
everybody.
what? It is everybody's for the asking, but some of our people are deep in the wilderness. And
Right.
that's why the
But that's what
light
we
in
said.
those of us that are being called, that
That's right.
we have to be the light to lead them out, because sometimes it's so many barriers placed on you, you can't even see where you at.
Right.
It's like
That's very
being out in the wilderness, literally in the
yes.
darkness.
It
and
completely
and
is.
those of us who have the light have to be out, able to go out into the wilderness and make that happen. But you can't do it if you're worried about the wrong things and you
You
have
worry
not
about what people
resolved your
say,
trauma.
right, what they gonna say, how they gonna feel. It don't matter what they say. It don't matter how they feel. If God told you to do something, you just get up and go ahead and do it. When He
Yes.
tells you to do it, you know what I'm saying. Even if you have to look crazy or stupid to some or dumb to something, if you know that the Lord told you to do it, then you move on that. And so I'm just so passionate about us just stepping into our rightful stuff. Like God has so much. We are the original people.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now that should tell you a whole lot right there.
Well,
Everything on this earth comes from us.
and and,
Everything.
and I wanted to go back to what you said about if God tell you to do something, because sometimes people think it's something like starting a ministry or starting a church. Sometimes it ain't none of that. Sometimes it's dyeing your hair blue. Because I need people to understand, you can reach people that other people not gonna reach because of the blue hair. And
Exactly.
what if you would have been worried about what folks gonna say, or people not gonna receive me? That's beside the point. If that's where
Right.
God needs you.
Exactly.
I learned that years ago, and I tell this story all the time. I had gone out of church, gotten away from church, because I was a church kid, a kid in church. When I turned 16, I got away from church. I said, I don't want nothing to do with church because it ain't nothing in there for me. I'm trying to
Yep,
be
that was
where the men at. And this was a 16-year-old. I'm trying where the
right.
men at. Of course, I said it a different way. Where the ends at? Where the niggas at? That's what I was saying. 16 years old. But I will never forget, somebody convinced me to go to church, and I had on my mini skirt and my thigh high boots. And I went on in church, and there was a woman at the front of the church, and she looked amazing to me. She had long, pretty hair, and she had on jewelry, and she was flashy and glamorous. And had not that woman looked like that, I would have never got back in church, because it
Right.
was the way she looked that attracted
Mhm.
me. I wanted to be that. And so
Right.
what, I still wasn't ready for church, but I was ready
Right.
to look like that. And
Right.
so God can use anything. That's
Yes.
why it's important to just be obedient. Just
Hmm.
be obedient.
What I found is that if he will use whatever he has to get his kids.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
he'll do whatever
Absolutely.
he has to get his back. He's going to do whatever he has to, or use whoever he has to go out there and get his children and get them on the right track. We have to be willing to accept the assignment and give him a
Right.
real yes,
Yes.
not that play yes, a real yes, where you're like, I don't care if I die doing this, I'm going
And
to do it
sometimes,
regardless.
that is where you realize that your trauma is in the way. And
Yes,
that's the reason why this discussion was important, because sometimes you have to take a step back and resolve your trauma.
you
And
have to.
so,
He can't use you messed up now, because he don't need you going out there re-traumatizing folk. That
right,
they got trauma on their own. They don't need you to compound on their mess already with your crap because you didn't want to clean it up. So he can't use you like that. He's
right,
gotta break you down and clean you up and put you back together all good again. You know what I'm saying? But you got to be
yes,
willing to do that process. You know what I'm saying? You have to be willing to be vulnerable and open to him and go through the process. It is a process. I know it sounds so cliche because people was like, "Oh, go through the process," but it's honest. You really have to go through that process and be willing to take your rightful place when it's done. Now, that's
right,
where a lot of things is getting messed up, because people are getting clean and they going and keeping it clean to themselves in the house. That ain't why God cleans you up.
right, right,
He cleans you up to show somebody else that it could be done.
right.
It is
And
your
in your
duty.
way, in your way.
Way,
Yes,
yes, it is your duty. We have a duty to each other to go
yes,
out there and be that example of, yeah, I was taught from the floor, but look what God did. Look at
right,
all this. You know what I'm saying? Look at all of this. Look what the master did, the master
right,
potter, the master clay. So look how he has molded the clay. So you have a duty to do that. You don't get to sit up there and take his creation yourself and hide it away.
right,
He created you for his own enjoyment. You know what I'm saying? It's for him. You don't get to do that to him. You don't belong to yourself. If you claim you follow and whatnot, you belong to him, then you do what he tells you to do. And so
right.
you get your
Absolutely.
clean up, and you go and help somebody else clean up. And you go and help somebody else clean up. See, the devil has pissed me off so bad. I told him, for every one that you try to take, I'm going in for 7. That's what
Mm.
I tell him that every day. Every day I let him know in that
Well,
prayer class.
what you said is
Every day. For every
right.
one you
And
try
that
to take.
reminded me of that scripture that says, don't use your liberty for an occasion to the flesh," which
Mm,
means once God have freed you and delivered you, now you go seek after the desires of your flesh.
yep.
Now you ain't do nothing but getting back in bondage.
Basically.
Yes. So
Basically
for
that's what
people
it
who
is.
have resolved their trauma, it's not just for you to sit back and then now I'm going to enjoy my life. Yes, you can
No.
do that too. But to help other people to get through and to resolve their trauma. And that's the reason why this topic was so important, and having you on was so important. And I just want to thank you so much for this discussion. It has been so
Thank you.
helpful, and I have enjoyed every minute of it. Anything
Thank
else you
you.
want to tell people before we go?
I would just really, again, want to repeat myself again, because this is just something people are just gonna hear probably to the day I die. Y'all go get help. Like,
Yes.
seriously, please. If you know you need it, Go pray about it, especially if you're, well, if you're not a Christian or whatever, I don't know what to tell you to do in that realm. But if you are, pray about it. Ask the Lord to lead you to the right counselor, therapist, psychiatrist. I'm not one for medicine, but I understand that people need it sometime
Yes.
in the beginning to help get a handle on things. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm-hmm.
understand and I get that. So whatever it is, go seek your healing. Get healed,
Yes.
get whole, get delivered, me y'all, please. So y'all can help somebody else. Think about your children. If you don't do it for yourself, do it for your kids. Think about your grandchildren. Like that's what be on my mind. That's why I'm like,
Yes.
my grandkids can't go through this. They can't go through being a black sheep and favoritism and all. That's not right. And I will
Right.
not. I will call a family meeting with my kids. We gonna have a powwow about this. It's not happening. Y'all have got to take that stance and change the legacy in your families, change the lineage. I just believe that's what God wants to do. He wants to start
Absolutely.
families over again because the ones before them have messed it up. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Messed it up. So y'all go get healed. Please go get the help that you need. Go get healed, whole, and delivered and set free. I'm telling you, because there's freedom available for you, and it is beautiful on the other side. I have to tell you.
Yes. I can second that. I was just thinking the other day, I have been where I was before was not a state of wholeness. To be
No.
whole is like being born again. It is. It's like a rebirth. It's like life starts over when you have
Mm-hmm.
come from brokenness to
Yes.
being whole. It is an experience, it is a feeling that cannot be rivaled by anything else. And you have to chase after that. You have to get that because you're cheating yourself if you go through life broken. You don't have to
If,
be.
if you think happiness is it, you are cheating yourself. Because I'm here to tell you that it is joy, baby. Okay?
Yes.
It is joy. It is something to have joy even in the midst of something. You can still see the greatness of God in the midst of whatever it is that you're going through, a job loss, a pandemic,
Yeah.
whatever.
Okay.
Okay? That is joy. That is
Yes,
joy.
it
That is
is.
everlasting. Okay? Happiness is temporal. It's temporary. You can be happy today, sad tomorrow. It's emotional.
Right.
But
Right.
joy, no, you have joy even through death, through life, through separation. It is still a piece of, there's still, you know what I'm saying? It's just something you still feel great, even though, in spite of, even all this is happening, I still feel wonderful. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's still a great day to be alive. Every day above ground is a great day. That's what I tell
Yes,
them all
it
the
is.
time. Every day above ground is a great day. I don't care how somber it is. It's still a great day. And I'm going to decree and declare that it's going to be a great day. And nobody's going to take that away from me. Nobody.
Right. Absolutely. Well, again, I want to thank you so much. Please follow Kisha Nicole. If you're not already following her, she got plenty places on Instagram
I know,
that
right?
you can follow, okay? And I want you to follow all of them. I'm gonna go and do the same thing. Embellished by Kisha Nicole, Colorful Kisha Nicole, Kingdom Recovery Coaching, and Pink Love Houston. If there's anything that I missed, definitely let us know so that we could all follow you and support you. Once again, thank you so much for being on the
Thank
show.
you. Thank
I have
you.
really enjoyed you. I
I
really
enjoyed
enjoyed you.
myself. Great conversation, kingdom conversation. I love it. I'm here. I'm always here for it. Definitely. So thank you so much for having me. Again, I'm so humbled. I'm so grateful and so appreciative that you thought enough that, I had something to say. It's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you guys so much for watching. And
Yes.
I don't know what else to say. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook. And until then, we'll see you next week.
Yes. Peace, people.
Bye.